Kia ora koutou katoa, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. So today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of being a university student here in Auckland. So this is a good video if you are maybe thinking of coming to study in Auckland, but I do want to give a quick disclaimer and say a lot of these things are just my opinion based on my personal experiences. So please don't base your decision solely on this video. Make sure you do your own research and go out and talk to people and ideally visit the universities that you're thinking of going to. But yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the video. One big pro is just the variety of good universities. Being the biggest city in New Zealand, Auckland has, I think, 3 universities if I'm not mistaken. So you've got University of Auckland, which is obviously very well known, ranked very highly, and you know, they're known for like having great courses in like engineering and the sciences. And then you've got Massey University, which I believe is more like sports or like science, and you know, like if you want to do vet nursing or yeah, like that kind of agriculture related stuff. And then my university, which is AUT, is really well known as well for like communications and design and sport and recreation. So basically anything you want to study, like you're gonna find, you know, a place to do it here in Auckland. Yeah, that's the first pro. Another pro is the career opportunity. So of course this kind of depends on what you want to do, but again, Auckland, you know, it's like the biggest city in New Zealand, so it's pretty much the commercial hub, entertainment hub. Yeah, a ton of opportunities. Even as a student, you know, if you're looking for internships, most of them are probably here. And if you want to find a part-time job, like you're definitely not going to struggle with that. So yeah, just the career opportunities and I guess the ability to meet people and like build those networks is pretty good. Number 3, the next pro is diversity. So again, being the biggest city, it is quite metropolitan, and Auckland itself is very multicultural. So if you're coming from overseas especially, you're probably going to be able to find, you know, like the food that you want, or like people of like similar cultures or similar backgrounds. But I guess in a way it's also a con, because for example, if you're coming from, let's say, China or India and you want to learn English, if you come here, you're probably going to meet people from like similar backgrounds, and then you're not really gonna interact with like the locals per se. So yeah, I guess it is a pro and a con. And then last pro is just that Auckland's just a nice city to live in. It recently was voted the most livable city in the world, and I mean that's a bit controversial. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't say it. I don't know if I agree with that exactly. I definitely think compared to some places, it is a pretty nice city to live in. I know, especially during COVID times, I was really grateful to be living here. In general, it's pretty safe. You know, you've got like lots of nature, you've got the water, beaches, etc, etc. So yeah, overall, it's a pretty decent city to live in. Okay, now starting with the cons. Number 1 is Auckland is expensive. I mean, the whole of New Zealand is kind of expensive if you're coming from like, you know, Southeast Asia, but Auckland especially, like the rent prices are very high, and just the cost of living is just pretty high. So definitely be prepared for that. If you're coming from a smaller city in New Zealand, like the rent is definitely going to be a lot higher than what you're used to, so to keep that in mind. But once again, you know, you can also find a part-time job, so you know, you can kind of get around it, but just do know that life ain't cheap. Another con I would say is kind of the student culture. So I guess it kind of depends, because since I live at home, like it's pretty difficult for me to like get to the city, so I don't tend to really go to campus that much, and I don't hang around campus that much. And I find that that's kind of the situation for most students here, because it is really like a commuter city, and most students that go to university still live at home or live outside of the city. So what you'll find is that a lot of people probably stick to their high school friends, or you know, they won't really be that interested in meeting new people, because they do have those existing like, you know, relationships with their family and friends already, which I know isn't really the case if you're going somewhere like Otago, where everyone's kind of moving there for uni and they're more open to like getting to know people. But in saying that, you know, it's definitely possible to make friends, like especially if you're living on campus, like in halls. I know that it is definitely quite social as well. So yeah, I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. I think if student culture is like your number 1 priority, I probably wouldn't come to Auckland. But if you just want somewhere to like study, and you know, you don't really care about going out every single night, like if you just want to make some friends like and chill, like, you know, you can definitely do that here. Another con is transport. So it depends where you live again, but if you're living outside of the city, it can take you quite a long time to get to uni, especially like me living in East Auckland. It can often take me about, you know, an hour or like an hour and a half just to get into the city on public transport, so that could be a con as well. And you also kind of need a car. I mean, you can survive without a car, but you'll be very restricted. And you know, if you want to go out into nature, or if you want to go anywhere basically, like the public transport system isn't great here, so you kind of need a vehicle, or at least you need to make friends with someone who has a car. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao!